worker at the nursing home had been trying to reach her all day, and she has agoraphobia, so she's never going to be that far from the phone. She can't reach her. She calls my younger sister and myself and says, we can't reach your mom. What's going on? Better go over there and make sure she's okay. My younger sister gets there first, and she didn't have the key. My mother hadn't given her the keys to the apartment and certainly didn't trust the super of the building to have a set of keys. So the police come, they have to break the door down, pull it off its hinges. My poor younger sister, who was extremely close to my mom, goes in and finds my mother in the bedroom, in a chair, like this, dead. Her lips are blue, her nail beds are blue, and when they lift her up and put her on one of the beds, one of the fancy Posturepedic pillow top mattresses that she just spent thousands of dollars for, she's been dead for a while, so her arm remains in this position like this. But I didn't know this yet, so I called the apartment on my own, because I got the message to check on Mom, and a guy answers, and there's no guy there. The only guy in her life is my dad, and he's in the nursing Officer Olivo. I said, I'm here to check, is my mom all right? He goes, no, she passed. And then he says, drive safely. So I get over there, the door's off the hinges, it's unbelievable, it's just surreal. And I walk into the house, and my younger sister staggers out of the bedroom, and she goes, I guess we have to call Fresh Pond. And Fresh Pond is the name of the mausoleum where my parents have always planned to be cremated, which is a weird name because it's neither fresh nor is there a pond. And my sister has gone daft. She has snapped. It's like, do you remember the movie Gone with the Wind? Poor Scarlett O'Hara goes home to see her mom. But the father's gone around the bends, and well, my sister has snapped. She's just lost it. And I go in, and there's Mom on the bed like this, and it's horrible. And there's a police officer, a young kid of a police officer, a rookie, sitting at the kitchen table at our dining room table. He's hunkered down into our house, and he has to be there until the body's removed. That's New York State law. Apparently, they don't trust us with our mother's body. And they're right. And this officer's on the phone with his girlfriend, trying to pass the time, making chit chat with his girlfriend. And I'm in the room with my younger sister, and my younger sister looks at me, and we look at Mom on the bed there, and she says, in your heart of hearts, do you really think Mom's dead? That's what I mean by being she's gone a little daft. I should tell you that my sister is an RN. She's a fully certified nurse, and you think she'd be able to contribute a little bit to this assessment. So I actually go up to my mom, and I think, well, I try to do CPR, and I compress the chest, and the whistling sound as the air leaves her lungs, and it's clear that she's dead, and there's nothing, I tried for a little bit, but there's nothing that I can do. He's clearly dead, and there's no pulse, there's no response. And then we try to figure out what to do, and I remember that Grandma was taken to a funeral home, and I called that funeral home, and they want $3,000 to come on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. to pick up Mom's body. $3,000. So I turned to my sister, I said, we'll split it, right? And she goes, no. I said, I'll put it on my credit card, but we'll split this, right? And she goes, no. And I said, well, I'm not paying for it either. Because I know all the times she screwed me in the past where I pick up the check and we're supposed to settle later, and it's horrible, right? Then the medical examiner comes, who's a perky blonde, and she comes in and she examines, that's by law also, she has to examine my mother's body, so she examines her, and we say, what do you think happened? What do you think was the cause of death? She said it's probably a cardiovascular event. Now for me, the word event usually has positive connotations. It really should be more of a cardiovascular disaster. Because there are event planners, but nobody planned this event. Well, anyways, I said, how long do you think she's been dead? She said, well, judging by her rigor mortis, I'd say about 8 hours. But she says, but if you really want to be sure, I can put a rectal thermometer in and give you a more accurate because of this. So I don't know. I said, all right. And my younger sister goes crazy. She goes, you want to put a rectal thermometer in mine? And then she goes, when you die, I'm going to do that to you. As you can see, we're very close.
So, Ellen, one more minute.
Wow. Well, now we're going to speed up. I'm sorry I've been taking so long to get here. Long story short. My father goes back into the hospital because he's so depressed by the fact that my mother died. He ends up on a psych unit in a hospital in Brooklyn where he's given so much medication and it's not his pulse and blood pressure aren't monitored for hours. He's found dead in his bed on June 22nd, 2008. The same day that George Carlin died. At least he had some company at the pearly gates. And at times like that, you turn to religion. And my sisters and I are not close. We never sat Shiva for them, for either of them. And sitting Shiva is the Jewish way of mourning. As a kid, I thought it was shiver. I thought you had to sit there and shiver. That you would suffer because of the loss. But anyway, we didn't do that, but I bought a memorial candle and I tried to say the prayer for Kaddish. Kaddish is the Jewish memorial prayer for the dead, not to be confused with Kiddush, which is the prayer for the wine, or Quidditch, which is the game on broomsticks that they play in the Harry Potter. And this prayer is all about praise be God, blessed be God, sanctified, exalted, extolled. It's like a Roget's thesaurus of synonyms for praise. There's no bitterness. It doesn't even mention the word death. And at the end it says, may there be peace on us. May we have peace. Well, I don't have any peace. I am pissed at the way they treated him at the hospital, and I am bringing a lawsuit against the hospital, Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center. I called a lot of lawyers, 1-800-PAIN-LAW, 1-800-BEDSAWS, 1-800-SUE-NOW. If you've been hurt by anything, a doctor, a hospital, a bad score on the SAT. And they tell all these law firms turned down the case because they said an 88-year-old man, he had turned 88 in the hospital, 88-year-old man's life is not worth that much. It's like, one lawyer said it's like a 2005 Toyota being driven off the lot. You're not going to get a lot of money. If he had been 48 with a wife and 3 kids to support, the payout would be much greater from the hospital for a malpractice suit. But it's not worth their while to take a case with a lab, take 3 years in the courts, and they're not going to make a lot of money. So, but I kept going, and I found one lawyer who was taking the case, and it's in the works, and someday we will have justice.